Story 1. Music festivals, the crowds, portable toilets, pickpockets stealing people's phones, traffic and parking, ticket costs, heat, humidity or rain, and so on. Just not for an introvert who needs her creature comforts. Story 2. I hate amusement parks. They are expensive and you spend most of the time waiting in line. Most rides are either unpleasant or cause motion sickness. Story 3. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It all gets better with time. Not always. Story 4. Reality television. I try, and every now and then I'll like one for a little while, but something about it grates my nerves. Story 5. Modern rap and hip-hop. I like classic rap. Artists used to get a good beat and tell a good story. Now they mostly brag, either featuring a singer for the chorus or interrupting a singer with a chorus about how great they are. Story 6. I can't stand those universally loved pumpkin spice lattes. It's like drinking a candle and not in a good way. Story 7. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Please just hand me the power drill and push it through my frontal lobe so I may become one of you. Jim Carrey reference. Story 8. Skiing and snow sports in general are very expensive. You spend most of the time waiting in lines, and you are never at a comfortable temperature while doing them. Story 9. Soccer culture. It's fine to play a friendly match or to spend time with others, but I don't agree with the culture of fanaticism. I think the most foolish reasons to go to prison are killing someone because their team beat yours or assaulting your spouse because of a match result. I'm not speaking without foundation. The first is a common crime in Latin America, where teams have sometimes refused to play because of nights with multiple homicides involving fans. The second example has occurred in the United Kingdom. Story 10. Podcasts. Everyone and their dog has one, and they all seem to be copycats. Story 11. Artificial intelligence photos. People find it amusing to have their photos altered into something else or placed in a different scenario. I find that frightening. Story 12. Cake is always too sweet. Every frosting except maybe cream cheese is terrible, and I am expected to eat it every time someone has a birthday. Even when I say none for me, thanks, 90% of the time I am handed some anyway. I end up carrying a small plate and finding someone to eat it for me or discreetly discard it. I am not trying to watch my weight. I am a chunky woman, so stop telling me to treat myself. I will eat the equivalent of 6 potatoes worth of mashed potatoes with gravy and a pound of roasted vegetables. That is a treat for me. Story 13. This may just be in the Pokemon community, but I do not like Greninja. Story 14. Football. I live in Alabama, where college football is a religion. The only reason I ever go to a game is to see the marching band. Story 15. Travel is great for people who like it, but I much prefer my own bed and not having to get on a plane, drive for hours, and schlep all my stuff to a location far from my house and my cats. I'm personally just happier at home. Story 16. Water parks are not suitable for children in diapers. No, thank you. Story 17. Sports. The fanaticism and idol worship. The corruption, including the Fédération Internationale de Football Association and the International Olympic Committee. The ridiculous money involved, such as salaries, television deals, and commercialism. The amount of time spent watching and keeping up with teams, standings, contracts, and trades. The idiotic commentators, for example, he really came to play and she really hates to lose. Bad refereeing and umpiring. It is all too much. Story 18. Artificial intelligence is exterminating humanity. I feel heartbroken. Story 19. I get bored with sports, whether watching them or hearing other people talk about them. Story 20. Please do not kill me. I think Dolly Parton as a person is fine, and I admire her work promoting literacy and other good causes, but I am not keen on the Dolly Parton brand. For example, my local supermarket now sells Dolly Parton frozen pies, and there is the whole Dollywood enterprise. It is very odd to me and not my preference. Story 21. I find sports incredibly boring. If I go to a sporting event, it is only because my partner is making me or because I want to get drunk and yell. Ironically, my partner used to play professional basketball and now coaches amateur athletic union basketball. Story 22. Cars. Big oil, the illusion of freedom they sell, tolls, traffic, petrodollar, and oil wars. Parking spots that make more money than people in New York City. Buses and trains are poor because of the car lobby. Cities are designed so people are severely limited without a car. New car payments and insurance financially. Wreck young people who have no idea. Gas guzzlers as macho status symbols. Electric cars and their inextinguishable fires. Energy squandered lugging around 2 tons of steel to get groceries. Obesity from sitting in drive-thrus. Victim-blaming jaywalking laws. Sport utility vehicle height upgrades. Ugh, I fucking hate car culture. Story 23. Entrepreneurs are not the idea of innovation. They are the obnoxious people who inhabit that world. Story 24. Avocado. Miss me with that creamy green grossness. Paradoxically, I have been told I make absolutely stellar guacamole. I have no idea since I do not taste it to know if it is any good. Story 25. Superhero movies. I have found myself experiencing superhero fatigue and find the plots formulaic and unengaging. Music festivals and concerts. Large crowds, high ticket prices. I dislike being nickel and dimed, sanitation issues, and extremely loud music that I cannot enjoy because it hurts. Also, merchandise is overpriced. I am not paying $50 for a band t-shirt. Story 26. I would never admit it to my coworkers because of backlash, but dogs are noisy. They smell, require a lot of attention, and their licking really weirds me out. Story 27. I hate the giant skeletons from the Home Depot that people leave up all year. Story 28. This might get me some flack, but when I travel I find that no matter what kind of holiday or trip, even one that is right up my alley, I am thinking about being back home in my own bed on the first day. I have always thought I have some autistic traits in that regard. Predictability is the best vacation ever. Story 29. Frosting on a cake. 90% of the time it ruins the dessert. It tastes like battery acid, and the cake becomes completely unpalatable. If your cake is not flavorful enough, put the flavor in the cake. Story 30. It is no secret that I hate alcoholic beverages. Story 31. Bacon smells good but tastes like pure salt. Star Wars. I reached my 20s without seeing the films. I watched them once for a man I was dating. I am upset I will never get that time back. Baseball is very slow. If I can do my taxes and keep up with what is happening, it is too boring to watch. I respect the skill, but it is extremely boring. Story 32. Apple pie. Hot apple chunks feel wrong when I chew them. Story 33. Sports. I will never understand the appeal of watching someone chase a ball around a field or court. It just seems like a huge waste of human potential. Story 34. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, particularly the song The Time Warp. Story 35. Criticism of artificial intelligence is rare outside online spaces and uncommon even online. Story 36. Theme parks. Standing in line for hours to feel dizzy for 30 seconds? No. Story 37. Princess Bride. I have never understood the love for it. Story 38. I have never worked in an office. I have mostly worked in trades. I do not understand the humor or the thousands of memes about it. Story 39. I enjoy the beach, but I do not like sand in places where it should not be. Story 40. The Lion King. The music sounds more suited to a cruise ship than to a stage musical, and Simba is really annoying. Disney music stopped being good after Howard Ashman died. Story 41. I find the Star Wars franchise boring. I do not usually fall asleep during movies unless I am extremely tired, but I can be wide awake, and if someone asks me to watch a movie and then they put on Star Wars, I fall asleep within 5 to 10 minutes. Story 42. Taylor Swift's new music. I loved the country material because, compared to my Pink, Tina Turner, and Broadway albums, it was different. Now it just sounds like every other song on the radio. Story 43. The Adoration of Steve Irwin. No offense to the Irwin family. Story 44. Doxing someone because they did one wrong thing. Like that woman at the Phillies game who cares about taking a ball. The kid was okay in the end. I'm so sick of people ruining others' lives over mundane things. I'm sure you have skeletons in your closet. Story 45. Ceviche is a raw fish salad in which the fish is cured by lemon or other citrus juice. Story 46. Brownies are only good when they are chewy. I would much rather have cookies instead. Story 47. Sushi is not a secret. I am completely apathetic toward reality television celebrities. Story 48. Vlogs unless something really interesting is happening, in which case I do not care. Story 49. Golf. I agree with Mark Twain. It is a good walk spoiled. Story 50. Bars and clubs rely heavily on drinking for entertainment. How is that fun? Story 51. People who go to nightclubs and festivals always seem to be the worst kind of people. Story 52. Cinnamon is the reason I do not like apple pie. Why does it need to be in so many desserts? Story 53. The smell of coffee makes me sick. My parents used to drink black coffee with no lid on the cup whenever we went on long drives or out to the farm on bumpy roads. I became car sick often as a child, so I associate that smell with vomiting and cannot stand it. Story 54. Reality television. Celebrities without skill or talent, merely vacuous. Story 55. Babies are creepy and uncanny to me. Story 56. Hamburgers are so gross to me. The smell, the taste, and the thought of what I am eating repel me. I am not even a vegetarian. The idea of eating half a pound of plain hamburger that is usually dry and flavorless is horrible, especially from fast food. A dry bun that gets soggy from condiments that are like pond scum makes it worse. Blech. Story 57. Mushrooms in general have a uniquely repulsive smell and taste when cooked. Story 58. Work parties often cause drama, or someone brings food that makes people sick. Story 59. Concerts make me uncomfortable. I cannot stand how loud the music is, even when I really like it, and I dislike being in crowds. I think people are generally low quality, and I hate going anywhere where there is an abundance of them. Story 60. Boba tea has the wrong texture. I do not want a sudden slimy ball of tapioca to pop into my mouth while I am drinking a tea latte. Absolutely not. Story 61. Lindt chocolate is terrible. It is too sweet and mushy. My saliva was still thick and sweet 2 hours later. It is my definition of hell on earth. After 10 years of receiving one for Christmas, I feel like I am on the Truman Show and my limits are being tested. Story 62. Sports cars. My ex-husband had a 2008 Mustang, and I was embarrassed to ride in it. I felt like he wanted people to look at him and thought it was cool. I was relieved when he had to sell it and bought a truck. I also don't get the hype over motorcycles. Story 63. Alcohol. I don't care how much flavoring you add. I'll only ever taste pure rubbing alcohol. Story 64. I do not want the dry, overcooked oven turkey and bland sides that often characterize a traditional American Thanksgiving. Many traditional dishes can be improved with different techniques and a better balance of flavors and seasonings beyond just butter, sugar, and salt. The over-reliance on butter to cover a poorly cooked turkey is unappealing, and the need to have 8 or more side dishes for a meal is a cleaning nightmare. Story 65. I liked having a cat, but I do not like other people's cats or being expected to like them. Story 66. Instead of charcuterie boards, it would be better to have taco boards. Story 67. Pizza. If a place serves other Italian food, I'll choose something more exciting. Unless I'm in New York, then I'll get pizza. There are too many sorry-ass excuses for pizza. Do you see what they do to pizza in Altoona, Pennsylvania? Fucking American cheese. It's a crime. Not everyone can make pizza. Story 68. Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and The Lord of the Rings can be thrown into the sun. Thanks. Story 69. I do not like anything with tomatoes. No ketchup, no pasta sauce. Pizza should have barbecue sauce because at least it does not taste like tomatoes. There used to be major arguments at the dinner table. My parents would make filled pasta like tortellini and always use a tomato sauce because apparently cream is devil food. I always begged for no sauce, but I always got sauce. My parents would say, "Look, It is only a tiny amount. Stop whinging about it. You would complain if we gave you no sauce like you do every time. Keep whinging and it will go in the bin and you will get nothing. I hated my parents and their attitude. Story 70. I have tried many times to enjoy coffee, but I cannot stand it. Story 71. Coffee. The smell, the taste, the culture. Nothing about it appeals to me. Story 72. The song associated with the Young Men's Christian Association had a silly dance. It was a good song in the 1970s, but I refused to do that dance. Story 73. Butter. The smell and the taste are abhorrent. It makes me feel ill. I can eat cakes and so on if I cannot taste it, but I am like a sniffer dog for it in sandwiches. If there is even a small bit, I will find it and I cannot finish the food. Story 74. Live music is different from listening to recorded music while walking around. I find concerts boring, uncomfortable, and too crowded, and often the songs sound worse than they do at home. I am not saying live concerts are bad. If you like them, great. They are just not for me. Story 75. Strawberries. Maybe it is where I am, but they are hardly ever sweet. Story 76. Coffee. I do not know if it is a secret to anyone who knows me. I have tried a few times, but I cannot doctor it up to make it palatable. I also cannot eat anything labeled mocha flavor. Story 77. Romantic love. I am in a happy, healthy relationship. In general, that is because I cannot help my feelings and I do want to be with him. Yet I hate the vulnerability and the apparent impermanence of love. I think it can last forever. It's just incredibly rare. I also do not believe there is someone for everyone or that everyone should have a partner because not everyone wants one. I did have a relationship that really messed me up a few years ago, and despite being okay now and having undergone years of therapy, my views of romantic love will never be the same. Story 78. Sweet scented candles. If it is supposed to smell like a dessert or a beverage, it just gives me a headache. I love a pine or citrus scent, though. Story 79. Dogs. I don't hate them, but I don't want anything to do with them, and I definitely don't want them to touch me. I can always smell them, and everything they touch feels dirty. But people act like it's a cardinal sin if you don't love their dog, so I keep it to myself a lot of the time. Story 80. I was going to say concerts. They are annoyingly loud, crowded, and dirty, and the music is often not played at decent quality levels. Story 81. Beyoncé and Taylor Swift. I have tried multiple times, but I just don't care for their music. Beyoncé has one or two songs I don't mind, and Taylor Swift has one or two that I'll bob along to in the grocery store, but neither makes music I actively seek out. I think I have exactly one Taylor Swift song on a Spotify playlist, Karma. Her writing is not what her fans make it out to be, and Beyoncé's vocals are nothing special. There are at least a dozen female artists with stronger vocals right now. That's just my opinion. To each their own. Story 82. Overrated sports, trending topics, and religion are three subjects I just can't personally stand hearing. They tire me within the first two words. Maybe I can tolerate trending topics, but the rest are a hard no. Story 83. I know they are beloved, but I could never get into the Dave Matthews Band. I wish them and their fans nothing but love because they mostly seem cool, but it ain't my jam, baby. Story 84. Fireworks bore me to death. I am not sure I have seen a new or interesting one since my first. They are all the same to me. Story 85. French fries. Even the best ones I could take or leave. 99% of them are truly revolting. Story 86. The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, Adventure Time, and South Park are animated shows. Story 87. Outfit of the day and get ready with me. Can we just move on from this now? Story 88. Hedge. Why am I even on here? I guess I just like to torture myself. Also, Google search always shows a bunch of Reddit threads in the search results, so I figured if you can't beat them, join them. But man, Reddit can be brutal sometimes. Story 89. Applesauce, the store-bought kind, was sickly sweet and looked and felt like vomit. As a kid, I was flabbergasted when I found out people used it to get toddlers to eat. Story 90, corporate culture, call center culture, right-wing country music, strawberries, fish for eating, aquarium fish are fine. Story 91, Forrest Gump. Everyone is appalled when I say I absolutely cannot stand this movie. Story 92, I want so badly to love seafood. I have forced myself to try many kinds multiple times, from sushi and salmon to shrimp and lobster. I hate it. It makes me incredibly sad. Story 93, meeting people in the evening after a workday. I'm tired and overstimulated. I just want to rest. Story 94, in Australia, it is un-Australian to hate Vegemite, but I just cannot stand it. It is horrid sludge. Story 95, whale watching. What they do not tell you is that there is a chance you will be suffering for 3 hours on a boat in constant motion, and the closest you may come to a whale is only missed 50 yards away. Story 96, modern country music seems to be the most popular genre across much of the United States, but it is essentially pop music with a southern accent and lacks soul. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.